Hi, everybody. Bobby D here on what day is it? It is our Tuesday. And wanted to kind of just jump on here real fast, guys. Wanted to talk tropics, right? See what's going to happen this upcoming weekend. Looks like kind of like Friday night and Saturday, maybe for us. So I wanted to get you updated on my thoughts with that. But I figured before we get there, let's talk a little bit about these storms that we're seeing out there. No warnings in effect at this particular time. You saw Natalie covering the tornado warning we had. We had two today. One up towards Rocky Point, looked like a small funnel cloud more than anything else. And then another one towards DeSoto Estates down in Sarasota County. Let me go. Let's just get into that right now, right? We'll zoom in a little bit closer onto it. So you can see the one here. We're going to go back in time. The red box is what you're going to be looking at. Tornado warning up there near Trinity. And then we actually had one. There it was, right in there, towards Town and Country. And then you can see down here as well, too. So these are the ones that we've been keeping an eye on. Right now, the storms are moving towards the coast. They're just about offshore. You can see the tops of those clouds, by the way, shooting off very quickly off towards the east. And that's some upper-level winds that are going to play a role in the potential tropical weather we could have coming up, especially for the southern part of the state this upcoming weekend. So there it is. Storms will be falling apart. Now, the good news is, guys, we really needed the rain. So this is a really good rainy season pattern. But we do have some upper level winds that's kind of quick, and that helps to cause a little spin in the atmosphere for those quick spin up tornadoes. I think everything will be calming down tonight. You can see this line is now getting to the coastline. See it pushing offshore, Clearwater and Indian Rocks here. I know I'm zoomed way out, but I want to show you that line going all the way up to the Big Bend. And you can see now it extends down even west of Marco. So most of the energy now is pushing towards the coast. All right, let's zoom out a little bit. Let's come down here. Let the data fill in here. This mess that you see right there in the middle over the Yucatan, all of that is what's left over from Agatha. Right? Agatha was out here in the Pacific, and then it turned and moved on to Mexico, and it fell apart. You can see a little bit of rotation still in this area right here, but the center is right near land, so we don't expect any development. However, we are watching this as it moves to the east-northeast out here towards the tip of the Yucatan, out towards Cuba, maybe even a little bit further to the north, right? And you can see, obviously, that's where we are. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Let's go over to the computer now. I want to talk about what the Hurricane Center is saying. So there's still a lot up in the air with this. It just doesn't feel like it's a major issue for me at this particular point because we need the rain. There will be some areas, depending on how this goes, we could have zero rain in Tampa northward, or we could have a lot. And I'll go over the models here and show you just a little bit. Here's the Hurricane Center. So they're saying right now where that red X is where the center is. And that's what I was just showing you there. If you look here, in fact, I'll zoom in on it. You can see it's right in here. You can kind of see a little bit of rotation right there. See that? This is going to get pushed out towards the east here. We really want to see where does it come out. I mean, does it come out up here? Does it come out over here, Cozumel, Cancun areas, and end up over here? Right now, it looks like it's going to end up in this area right in here. Hence where you see what the Hurricane Center has with this. Now, I don't know if you can see this, but they're saying it has about a 30% chance of developing within the next 2 days, and then a 70% chance of developing once we get into, let's see, what's the Tuesday, Wednesday, so now we're talking Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Our concern would be Friday, Saturday. So something for us to keep an eye out for there. But let me show you this. First of all, I want to get my my Facebook page here so I can get your questions. I'm flying blind here, so if you're talking to me right now, I can't see you, but I'm going to pull this up here in just a second. How's everybody doing out there? Enjoying the storms as far as there's no damage, right? Okay, all right, I got it. Got it here. Kelly, I see you there. Okay, cool. All right, so now let's talk about the forecast models. So these are the forecast models for what's left over of it, right, of Agatha. And you can see where it is down here. And then they kind of take it to the east, northeast, and then they try and curve it up to the north. Now, this is the center of that rotation, right? What we're concerned about is that. We're concerned about where the weather is around that. And I bring that up because there's a lot of shear. And if the center is here, there's going to be a lot of weather to the east of it, the way the shear is. Maybe a little east, northeast, but generally to the east of it. So if it does take that track, that's mainly a South Florida issue. All right, so we'll see. The latest GFS is actually taking us a little further to the south and meandering it down here and seeing if it can push it down here and then fall apart more. So this will play a role into what the GFS is thinking. And so let's start with that right here. All right, so this is the GFS, the afternoon run. And so you can see, let me back up here. Let's go to where we are right now. Okay, so this is the Bay of Campeche right here. You see that? It takes the low all the way over here towards, well, south of Cancun, Cozumel. It's pretty far south. Now let's go out to Wednesday afternoon. Not much there. Let's go out to Thursday afternoon. You see the low developing here near Cancun? Right in there, right? So that's where the GFS is trying to develop the low. That's a very broad area of low pressure. We're not looking at a very strong system here. I just don't think it can happen. There's too much shear. There's even some dry air in here, which if that's the case, that really means we're not looking at a lot of wind, we're looking at a lot of rain, and we could have an isolated tornado threat in there. But watch the GFS model. This is Friday afternoon. Let's go into Friday at sunset. See the low near Key West almost, just east of Key West there. And now it's trying to develop a little low over the Keys, over towards Marco. And look where all the rain is. It's all South Florida. I mean, if this happens, we wouldn't get anything because it would suck all the moisture down there. And it's actually pulling some dry air over top of us. That's Saturday morning sunrise. Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening sunset. Everything's moving away. And you can see it's pulling out and going further away out through the Bahamas. Okay, that's the GFS. Let's see what the European is saying. And the European has basically been the only one now that is kind of holding out on this, right? So the European is not agreeing with it. It starts at about the same spot, which is really interesting. Okay, it starts it down here at the south. This is Thursday morning around sunrise. It's pretty close. It's maybe a little bit further to the north with that low than the GFS. Now let's go out to sunset Thursday night. See, it's got a broad low here. It's got a lot of rain over in the western tip of Cuba, kind of similar to the GFS model, right? But now it gets a really broad low. This is Friday afternoon. You see the low is now here. Look how big this is. It's not a strong low. It's not. We're not talking a lot of wind. But look at all this rain. There's the center right here. Look at all the weather's out here on the right side of it. See that? That's because of a lot of shear, and I'll show you that coming up. But now let's go out to Friday at sunset, and look what it's doing. It still has the low way back here, just northwest of the western tip of Cuba, but it's blowing a lot of moisture our way, right? And again, this is just, at this point, this is just rain. I mean, look, let's look at the surface wind at this point. This will pop up here. There's nothing. 10 to 15, if that. And then the greens that you see here, those are generally in the 20s. So we're not talking a lot of wind. Now let's go back out to where the storm is again. So this is the European. We're going to continue. Let's go out to Friday morning sunrise. Excuse me, Saturday morning. Let's back up, sunrise. So it's got the low by us, a lot of rain coming over. The low is only 1,001 millibars, by the way, which is not very low. And when you talk tropics, that looks scary. That could be a tropical depression. But look at the surface wind. I mean, there's nothing there. There's dry air wrapped in on the north side of this. Will be pulled in on the back. There's a lot of wind shear over top. So this is almost, in the way the models are going now, this is kind of the worst that I see of it. And I'm not even sure I'm buying into this all the way. It's a possibility for sure. And that's kind of why we just don't know exactly what's going to happen this upcoming Friday and Saturday, because we've got this. And then let me show you at the same time. Here's the GFS at the same time. It's got nothing, right? It's already come and gone. And so there's the difference. You can see the GFS is down here in the Florida Straits. That's a big difference, right? I don't know if you can see that, but that's what the deal is. All right, let's talk wind shear. So let's go where we're at right now. Remember we talked about those storms, the tops of the clouds, the top of this that are blowing off to the east. There you go. You see these winds here? They're going from west to east in the mid and upper levels, and they're blowing the tops of those clouds off. There is a ton of shear down here. You can see it all down in here. That's going to be pushing off to the north and east as well. This is not good for storms. So here we go out through Wednesday afternoon. Look at all this shear here, right? Remember the low is somewhere down here over the Yucatan. Let's go out to Thursday afternoon. That's the morning, that's the afternoon. This is the GFS, by the way. The GFS thinks the low is here. European's right in here, but look at all that shear. It's tough. This does what we call venting. At one point, it kind of vents the northern end of the storm, but there's just too much shear around for this really to get strong. So then as we go through Friday afternoon into the evening hours, look at all of that. There's where it thinks the surface low is down here. You see that's south of Key West, southwest of Key West, and then we've got all this shear even over top of that, and then it blows it out to the east. See how the low now comes right up the Keys? And then there's just nothing. If you have this, there would be nothing over top of us because of all this would just blow it all away. Literally would blow it all away. Even the forecast models do not really strengthen this that much. It has to be in the green to be a tropical storm. Yeah, they're kind of trying to get there in 72 hours. I wouldn't put a lot into that. This is the QPF, which means the amount of rainfall. And look at this. See Lake Okeechobee there? There's the line over there to maybe Northport. There southward could see heavy rainfall through Friday and the Saturday. But you see north of it, I mean, including us here, we're not. If that holds, we won't see a whole lot out of this. This is the GFS version of rainfall. Look at that. That's even south of Lake Okeechobee. Let's get a little bit closer here. I can just show you that. All right. That's just not a lot. This takes us out. Kind of get the idea where it's going right there. There's the European. Now look at the European idea. See, just so that much further to the north. Let me jump it into the state here so you can see. I mean, it's got a big difference, right? Compare that to the GFS. I guess we're not going to see that. Sorry about that. But you get the difference. That's the European, that's the GFS. European, GFS. And that's why we don't know exactly what's going to happen. But what we're doing is watching these forecast models like you're seeing right here, right? And we just keep kind of going back and forth. GFS, let's see the next run. This run actually was a little bit further to the north than the previous run. Still out over the South Florida. So right now it looks like more like a South Florida issue, and it looks like more rain than anything else to me. But it is something that we'll be keeping a close eye on. Again, it doesn't. This is like the worst wind that you're going to find on a forecast model, and there's just not much there. There's too much shear really to allow this thing to get going. So, tropical depression, yeah, it's possible. Tropical storm, maybe when it's out over off of the East Coast, but not before it gets here. It just doesn't look like it's got a lot yet. So that's where we are now. Look, remember we're going over all these models. Let me show you. This is what we're looking at right now, right? It's just a bunch of stuff down there. There's not much really going on. Okay, so we'll keep an eye on it. So today's Tuesday, Wednesday. We're hoping we get a couple. Well, we're definitely going to get a couple more runs in here, but I'm hoping we'll see some movement on the European, or whatever. As long as they come into more agreement is what we're looking for. But right now, if you're getting prepared, I think rain could be heavy at times Friday night and Saturday. That's the main threat that we're looking at this particular time. And the further south you go, the better chance that you're going to see this. It's too early for details at this particular point. This is not even forecast time yet. This is just kind of like, let's see what happens. And you see the Hurricane Center has about a 30% chance of developing the next couple days, 70% after that. And that means maybe a tropical depression, maybe a tropical storm. And some of that's going to include when it goes east of Florida too. So we'll keep an eye on it. We got a little extra lift in the atmosphere. Anybody have any questions before I get off of here? Oh, I can see them now. Here we go. Will it turn into a tropical storm, or will it still be a hurricane? Michael, it is nothing right now, and it has completely fallen apart. So if it comes back, remember, these are the remnants of it. If it comes back, once it moves over into the Atlantic basin, the Gulf of Mexico or the Caribbean, it becomes a new name system. So Alex is the first name on our list. If this were to reach tropical storm strength, it would become Tropical Storm Alex. Okay, so and that's an if, of course, but that's the rule. If Agatha were to go in and maintain its rotation and organization enough to pop out into the Gulf of Mexico, it would keep the name Agatha. But this has fallen apart now, so it won't do that. Karen, I agree with you. Just rain for Largo, please. And man, it could go further south, too. We'll see. We'll see. We definitely need it. But here's the thing. Look, the rain that we're seeing out there today, this is a really good rainy season pattern, especially for the folks along and west of I-75. And so we definitely needed some of the rain. We've had more south of I-4 here lately. But now we're going to start getting some back towards the coast with this east wind. So that's looking pretty good. Raining hard in St. Pete, Dawn. Yeah, I bet it is. It's pretty stormy. In fact, let's get in there right now. You can see that rain moving through St. Petersburg, and it'll continue to push off towards the southern part of the county, all the way down to Fort DeSoto. So rain's tapering off in that Gandy Boulevard area. We've got the storms now pushing southwards of Bradenton. You've got a line coming through. This will get in towards Sarasota, of course. AMI, here comes Curtis. Look out. It's not that bad. Just a little rain. We have some gusty winds with it, but I don't think we'll see any severe weather out there on AMI, but we could see some wind gusts in the 40s. Karen, where are you? She says, not a drop here. That tornado warning in northwest Hillsborough County earlier today. Now it looks like it just went right around the county. And then there it goes, Trinity area. Okay, guys, that's it. I just wanted to jump on here and say hey and kind of give you an idea of what the thinking is. I've seen, posts from our team. Follow them on there. They're doing a fantastic job. What you'll see, we can't really go out and say this is what's going to happen because number one, we don't know what's going to happen at this point, especially with the models flip-flopping and because we don't have a storm right now, right? We don't have the structure to say this is where the center is 100% because we know it's going to reform if it reforms further out to the east. So things are in that in-between mode, and it's kind of typical for this time of year. You get something down there, it falls apart, it crosses over. Where's it going to come out? What is not so typical is the amount of shear that we have up in here, and that's good news for us because that means whatever happens in the Gulf of Mexico or the Northwest Caribbean, that's going to be a weaker system because of that, right? So that's actually really good news. But we could use a little bit of the rain as well, too. Okay, guys, that's it. I'll be checking my comments down here. Shirley says, we need it in Melbourne. Yeah, you do. Yeah, and with an east wind, you're not going to get as much either, but we'll see. We'll see if some of that can come up the coast as we go through the latter half of this week into the weekend. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Appreciate it. Have a great rest of your Tuesday evening.